The Shabbat is a sign between Yahuwah and us. The Shabbat is a sign between Yahuwah and us, and the set apart ones. The Shabbat is a sign between Yahuwah and his set apart children. Shamut, which they translate to Exodus chapter 31, verse 12 to 17. He says, so Yahuwah Daba to Musha, you must, he said, you are to tell the Yasharalim, he said, you are to tell the Yasharalim that surely you are to certainly observe my Shabbat. You are to certainly, it's a certain matter. The Shabbat day is a certain matter, which is the 7th day of every week. There's not 2 Shabbat, it's 1 Shabbat. It's 1 7th day that is in the week. There's not 2. There's 1, it's only 1 that is in the week. Don't go and be doing your things. Even the evil system of the world could not change it. That's why they call it Saturday. Yahuwah will punish them without their evil name that they call the Shabbat day. We'll call the evil system, they will know for themselves very soon. It's the 7th day of the week, it's the Shabbat day. That's the only day Yahuwah put his name on. That's the only day that Yahuwah named. The other days are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and the Shabbat day, which is the 7th day of the week. There's not 2 Shabbats. Let nobody deceive you that one moon will direct you to point you to any Shabbat. Yahusha, when Yahusha was in this Arat, Yahusha observed the Shabbat from week to week. He did not look at the moon. Yahusha did not tell us to go and look at moon. Yahusha, that's our example that we are following, so that we can be at the right hand of Yahuwah, because Yahusha is the direct example that we follow. Yahusha did not tell anybody to go and look at the moon to direct him on the Shabbat. No. Yahusha, the only thing that we saw in the scripture is that Yahusha observed the Shabbat constantly with his Talmudim. His Talmudim is what they translate to disciples. He said, you are to tell the Yasharalim that surely you are to certainly observe my Shabbat, because it's a sign between me and you from generation to generation, so you may know that I am Yahuwah who Kadash you, who set you apart. Verse 14. He said, you are to observe the Shabbat because it's Kadash, it's set apart for you. Whoever profane the Shabbat is settling to die. Indeed, whoever does work on the Shabbat Yom is to be cut off from among his people. He said, work may be done for 6 days, but the 7th day is the Sabbath, is the Shabbat of complete rest, Kadash, which is set apart to Yahuwah. Whoever does work on the Shabbat, is certainly to die. Remember this word, certainly to die. That means when you are doing things, you are disobeying Yahuwah constantly, and you know that this is the truth. You are constantly disobeying Yahuwah. Okay, I want to do my Shabbat with the moon, so that I will walk. This one did not matter. Yahuwah said you will be cut off. In this present time that Yahuwah's mercy is at, Yahusha has brought mercy to mankind, the favor that is at work. You must focus in the truth now, walk in the light of the truth, so that you will be free, so that you will not be cut off from the chosen ones of Yahuwah. Verse 16. He said the Yasharalims are to keep the Shabbat and to make the Shabbat observance a perpetual covenant from generation to generation. It's from generation to generation. They passed it down to us here. It's not, they did not just wake up one day and be looking for one moon to direct them on the Shabbat. No. When you focus in the things of this world that blinded us, that's why we are not focusing on the moon that will guide us from month to month, from week to days. Everybody knows their day. From my great grandfather to me, now to my children, they know that a week is 7 days. Let us not deceive ourselves. Don't be deceived. Don't deceive your own self with the new moon, the Shabbat from one Shabbat to another Shabbat, and from one new moon to another new moon. The new moon is separate and the Shabbat is separate. The Shabbat is 7 days a week. Then the month is the cycle of the moon. They are not the same. So the Rabbi Yahuwah. He said the Yasharalims are to keep the Shabbat and to make the Shabbat observance a perpetual covenant from generation to generation. He said it's a sign forever. The Shabbat is a sign forever between the Yashara, between me, Yahuwah is telling the Shabbat is a sign forever between Yahuwah and between me and the Yashara, because Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the Arat in 6 days, but on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. On the 7th day Yahuwah rested and was refreshed. Toda Rabbi Yahuwah. Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 19. He said, I am Yahuwah your Aluah. I told them of old, say, follow my decrees, pay attention to my regulation, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash, for they as a sign to remind you that I am Yahuwah your Aluah. Let's read where he told them again. He said, the Yasharalim are to keep the Shabbat and to make the Shabbat observant a perpetual covenant from generation to generation. You know, it's a sign forever between me and the Yashara, because Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the Arat in 6 days, but on the 7th day Yahuwah rested and was refreshed. This is what he told them then in Shamut, when they just came out from the Mizraim, from their house of bondage. When they just came out from the bondage, Yahuwah told them. Now Yahuwah brought it again as a reminder. He said, I am Yahuwah your Aluah. I told them, follow my decrees and pay attention to my regulations, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash, for they are, verse 20, say, for they are a sign to remind you that I am Yahuwah your Aluah, that I am Yahuwah your Almighty One, that Yahuwah is your Almighty One. The Shabbat is to make you know that is your obedience to Yahuwah, that Yahuwah is your Almighty One, is your Aluah. That's what he said there. He said, and keep my Shabbat day Qadash, for they are a sign to remind you. A sign to remind you. The Shabbat is a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Aluah. He said, but their children too. He said, but their children too rebelled against me. They refused to keep my decrees and follow my regulations, even though obedience would have given them life. Obedience to Yahuwah's Daba, to the Daba that Yahuwah Daba concerning the Shabbat, would have given you more life. He said, even though obedience would have given you life, even though obedience would have given them life, and they also violated my Shabbat days. They violated my Shabbat days, like you are violating the Shabbat days now. You are using moon. You are just deceiving yourself, and I want you to stop that deception. Don't deceive yourself. This life is too short. The Shabbat can never be changed. No human being on this earth can change the Shabbat day. Never. It's not there. Nobody. Yahuwah did not permit anybody to change the Shabbat. From the creation of life, Yahuwah did not permit anybody in this earth to change it. That's why you see that today, the 7-day weekday can never be changed. It's not there. Nobody can change it. Say, but their children too rebelled against me. They refused to keep my decrees and follow my regulations, even though obedience would have given them life, and they also violated my Shabbat days. So again, I threatened to pour out my fury on them in the wilderness. Toda Rabbi Yahuwah.